is the Conservative Colonel Podcast with Harrison Dawes, where one man stands against the rising tide of liberalism. This officer in the battle to preserve our nation is the Conservative Colonel.
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue.
And here's Harrison Dawes.
Dadgummit, I'm rusty. Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel Podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Dawes. And before we get started, please remember to check us out on your podcatcher of choice. We are on Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music and Audible, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and Good Pods. If you would like the video format of this show, we also release on Rumble and YouTube. Real quick, I'm going to ask everybody, it's weird because this is technically episode 24, but we already released episode 25. I don't even want to get into that this episode because we already have a lot to get into. But make sure you check out episode 25. It's probably one of my favorites, probably one of the best I've ever done, along with, I think, episode 22 or 21 with Graves. We're going to be bringing Graves back on, hopefully shortly. Actually, I got a message from him right now. Tomorrow, maybe. I'm brain dead. He's like, "Do you want to film tomorrow?" And I was like, "Great, afternoons." It's been a couple of weeks, and we'll get into that. There, I'm going to break from the norm, and you're probably wondering why I sound a bit different, where my mic setup is, and we'll be answering those questions. It has been a crazy couple weeks. I've been off and on for about a couple weeks. If you've noticed, my schedule has been very shifty, and I'm going to explain that this episode. So instead of talking about political news, because me and Graves are about to record one on Trump, the assassination, this wave, Kamala Harris, running for president, Joe stepping down. I mean, it's been so crazy. I haven't been able to really stay in politics. Here's another reason why we're kind of going to stray for this one episode, to give me a week to catch up, because so much has happened in the span that I was gone, and we're going to get into that. And it's not really, you'll think it's a traumatic experience. I promise you it wasn't. There's only really one thing that gave me the cold chills about what happened to me. And also, I was traveling for work like the week before it happened. And so we'll kind of get into these things and why I've been gone. But I guess if you've read the episode title, you know that I was robbed. So someone broke into my house. And I'm going to tell the whole story, the moment that really actually got me a bit like, whew, that's interesting. I came this close to potentially dying. All that lovely crap. And real quick again, please go watch episode 25. I know this one says 24. Just go with it. We're all over the place here. But we're going to get better now that everything's calmed down. I'm back from my work trip. And there's nothing really planned for the rest of the summer for me. I can sit down and I can get this recorded. Not to mention, when August hits, it's going to start being a bit easier for me to record. Great all around. So that's it. So yeah, me and Graves are going to record tomorrow a great episode on just everything that's happened, playing catch up, and really begging the question on what's next for America. We haven't really planned anything. We're just going to kind of shoot from the cuff and go after it. And just see what happens and see where our conversation brings us. He's giving me one day. I'm going to mess with Graves if he's listening. He's giving me one day to catch up on all the news I've missed in the past 2.5 weeks. Thanks, Graves. But I'm picking at him if he is listening. I still haven't uploaded a couple episodes on YouTube and Rumble. I mean, it's been hectic. Because of that robbery, it threw off my recording schedule I was going to do for that week. Simply because of that robbery, I had to deal with other issues like talking to the police and having to calm down family members, still having to go and do my responsibilities at my church, and still having to get everything ready for this trip. And for those who don't know, I'm a farmer, and then also my dog was pregnant and she's about to give birth, so it was just bonkers, and I didn't have time. And then like I went on this work trip to South Carolina for a week, and oh, it was great, but I didn't have any free time to record. Also, I wasn't alone. I was staying with a group of my partners that we work on these historical projects together to film. And it was just, I had no time to film, no time to anything. I also left my mic in my travel bag, which is nowhere near me at the moment, hence why I have no mic. If you thought it got stolen, I hate to disappoint you. No, I just forgot it and still kind of wanted to film today. I don't know how long this episode's going to be. It's not going to be an hour, kind of the same as that last episode about Trump. When it first happened, I was just in so much shock. I had to speak and get my voice out and kind of tell y'all just the historical crap that we are in now. This is just humongous. But kind of going back to the purpose of this episode. So I think I've explained what happened, why there hasn't been any episodes. I got robbed. Work just was absolutely hectic after that because the robbery took all my time, having to deal with the individual that robbed us, having to put new locks on my house, having to still get all my animals ready. Then one of my dogs is pregnant, and okay, well, we were hoping she'd give birth before we left. Now it's looking like it's not. I have to get the people that's watching over my farm. Okay, how do y'all do this? How do you guys take care of puppies? How do you take care of the rest of the animals? It was just hectic, and I really didn't have any time to do anything. I am usually able to get done with farm work relatively early, and the robbery happened on Tuesday. I usually record on Wednesday. So all of Wednesday I was dealing with that and church and everybody coming up and, of course, asking questions about it. And then like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I worked my butt off on that farm because of just the puppies, the cattle broke a gate because, of course, they did. My horse is back at the farm now, and so we had to get everything ready for her. It was just crazy, and I'm kind of done defending myself, so I'll let us finally get into the story. I don't know where my ad break is going to be. I'm going to mess with Graves and tell him to listen to tomorrow's episode. Graves, I hope you know at 9:31 when I am texting you, listen to tomorrow's episode. You'll love it. It is because I'm talking about him getting robbed and the fact that I was texting you in the middle of this episode. Kind of, as I said, a more relaxed atmosphere for this episode. So talking about the robbery, let's get into it because I know that's all you people came here. You want to hear how I almost died. So, and I'm not going to make it sound heroic. I think I was blessed with circumstances, but we'll get into that in a minute. So Tuesday, one of my friends just sent me money. That's awesome. I'm broke right now. That's great. So on July 9th, I think that I feel that Trump episode, and that's all I had time for. But on July 9th, I was robbed. And that was a Tuesday. Again, I usually record on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, so this guy really screwed up everything. But I was going to one of my friends. We like to visit once a week and kind of wind down because our weeks can be pretty hectic. And me and him are both workaholics, and so it's good to kind of breathe for a minute. And I was headed to his house, and I can't remember what happened exactly, but I called him, or no, I texted him a couple times. He didn't answer. I called him. He's like, "Hey, I'm at my girlfriend's mom's house. We're just getting in late. I didn't hear from you. It was a hectic Tuesday. Honestly, I didn't have time to do anything." And so he was like, "Hey, I'm going to bed. I didn't hear from you. It's 8 o'clock at night, dude. Okay, that's fair." So I was probably halfway to his house, so I just turned around and I called my dad and I was like, "Hey, friend canceled plans. I'm probably just gonna go back to the house and watch some TV. Do you want to come?" We were watching a great TV show called Smallville about Superman's high school years, which sounds so much better than what it is. Uh, which is it is better than what it sounds. Let me rephrase that. And I was inviting him over because again, it'd been a crappy day. I can't remember exactly all what happened. Some major crap at the fan at work. That's all I remember. Oh yeah, someone told me I was a horrible boss on Facebook, and that's exactly what happened. So I was dealing with that all day. Why didn't you come with me? All that. I'll come to me with this complaint. You just kind of blasted on Facebook. It's in our company, social media policy. You can't do that. Blah 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 blah. And so, after dealing with that headache, I kind of wanted to go home and be with my dog. I am a duck hunter. I have a lot of duck labs. My personal one is named Allie. She's a sweetheart. And I just really was like, you know what? It's been a crappy day. I'm going home and chilling with my dog and watching Superman fight, some meteor freak. You know, what other things would what a 20-year-old do in the middle of the week? So I went home and I realized, I didn't really have a good supper. So I went by McDonald's, got me some fries, dessert. Me and my dad both like sweets. I thought I'd, be a good surprise for him since he's canceling his Tuesday night plans and coming home to watch this show with me. We go, I get to the house. Everything seems normal. And for those who don't know, living on a farm comes with having a lot of stuff. And me and dad were both trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. So we just, I noticed his motorcycle was outside and his cowboy hat was. Please don't ask why I did not think of the fact that my dad's favorite work cowboy hat was crushed and it didn't automatically send me red flags. And then I also noticed that I didn't notice at the time that the motorcycle was dead. We planned on selling it, but we just never get around to it. And I think the battery had died after a bit. And he had taken our gate battery, which was also dead, and had tried to jump it off. I didn't notice that. I was like, "Oh, well, Dad's just restarting it, checking if everything's okay so we can sell it. We might have to fix a couple things before we sell it." And I go inside, no red flags really, other than a couple of stuff out of place. But again, we're trying to get rid of some stuff. I'm a historian. I collect a lot of historical documents, a lot of books. Some of them I really don't need, so donating them to libraries, museums, moving some stuff that we've kept around for work that we necessarily don't need anymore, and stuff like that. And so we've kind of been moving around a lot. And I noticed that a couple of my papers were on the ground, but really nothing out of the ordinary. I thought my dad knocked them down uh, just by going in the hallway, and that's where I stacked them up because I had nowhere else to put them because I just did not feel like organizing them. So he knocked down some of my work papers, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he must have been in a hurry trying to go grab something." Go in my room, put my pistol down, walk outside. And now here's the moment that ran a shiver down my spine. I walk by this guy, and before we do that, y'all are about to hate me. I am about to take a quick commercial break, 15 minutes, and I'm getting a work call because, of course, I am. But we'll be right back after this commercial break. And we're back. Thank you guys for that. Sorry, I can't get away from it some days, and I just really wanted to record this episode, so it was kind of one of those. Well, come, uh, it's great. Come hell or high water, I was filming this episode, so it happens. I don't mind my work. I love my work. But they were just asking me to come back in, and I was like, oh, okay. But we'll still finish this up. So I walked past the guy the first time. He was hiding in my backyard in one of my bushes. So he had already broken into the house, already tried to steal a motorcycle, and he had obviously went through a couple things. Not anything I really noticed off first glance. And if you remember, I took my pistol that I keep in my truck and put it in my room, because when I came inside, there was nothing to worry about. It didn't seem anything out of place, so I put it up. So I walked past him the first time, and come to find out, he had two guns at this moment that he had stolen from my house, my farm guns, full of rat shot that, of course, I keep on me for snake season. I didn't know that at the time. Of course, I didn't know he was there at the time. Didn't know the house was broken into at the time. So I walk, go get my dog, let her out. She's running around. She uses the bathroom. Look, all the other dogs are losing their crap. Should have been my first sign. My dog, I've been saying for years, if someone broke into my house, she would lead them to my back room if it meant she was getting a treat. I now have confirmation she would in fact do that, while the other dogs were barking like crazy, and it just didn't register with me. Because when you live on a dog farm, sometimes barking can be drawn out or zoned out of. And so it wasn't really registering me that they were all barking, not to mention our neighbors have dogs. And I mean, we live on a farm, so we don't have close neighbors. So, like, if you can hear that many dogs barking at all times, you're going to zone it out. So that's kind of what I had done. And so my dog went and took a piss right next to the guy that broke into my house in his bushes, or in my bushes. And she peed. And I had no idea, none whatsoever. And I had my back to him. I had my back to the bushes because, again, I didn't know he was there. Didn't know the house was broken into. Definitely didn't know he had two guns. And it kind of, that's the part that got me. The second time that I walked by him. So the first time sends a deep, small shiver down my spine. The second time is the one that really got me after I thought about it. Here I am without a pistol, without my right to bear arms, without any protection for myself. My dog is pregnant, so she's not going to really be able to do anything herself. Honestly, she's moved to one of the other areas on the farm to run around for a minute and try to blow off some steam before we go inside. My back's to this guy. Fun fact, he's an escaped prisoner. So he obviously knew that he would have to do something. And by God's grace, that is when my father pulled up to watch Smallville. And I think that scared him away from attacking me personally. Again, we don't know that. I haven't talked to the guy. I don't want to. I've wiped my hands clean of it. The police can go deal with that. But yeah, no, if honestly he had two pistols that were loaded, and he could have hurt me if he wanted to. He could have got me. It is what it is. Luckily, God is good. And even if I did something bad happen, God is good. But so my dad pulls up. I tell my dog to go say hi to him. Again, very friendly dog. God bless her. Walk up to my dad. Hey, so you got out the motorcycle. You working on selling it? His response will forever be funny to me as he looked me dead in the eye and said, no. Very serious moment. It is when it hit both of us. Someone has been in the yard. Someone's been on property. And then I remember Dad's hat. Dad's work hat, his work cowboy hat, is inside by the door. So that man's been inside. And that's when it hit all. I was like, Dad, someone's been inside the house. And I let him go in first because, again, I put my pistol down. So I let him go in first with his gun. We clear it back to my room. I grab my pistol. We clear the rest of the house. And that's when we go into the kitchen. Our kitchen goes into our backyard where, again, the guy is hiding. Back door's open. One of the lamps is knocked over. Luckily, nothing's broken. Just some crap fell off the wall that he just knocked down in the rush to get out. Just pure luck. And we were like, okay, I know we're not supposed to touch anything, but we're going to at least shut the door, lock the back door so we know no one's getting in without us knowing. We called, of course, the police. And that's when we start taking inventory of stuff. I didn't notice this till the next day, but he was in my closet, the piece of crap. He stole my ostrich boots, my cowboy boots, my dress black cowboy boots I wear with my black suit, and a couple of my, what I call historian shirts. They're the Fisher button downs. I wear them when I go to libraries, go filming, working in cemeteries. I wear those. He stole all them. And of course, why wouldn't he? A couple of my farm shirts and a couple of my dog hats, because it was not like it's my company and I can trace it back to him. So we called the police. And again, we didn't know he was on property. Normally in those situations, I've been told by experts, you want to stay in the house. You don't want to go out exploring for someone because they can catch you off guard, and that's when you get hurt. And so we didn't know that at the time, so we went outside and was checking the motorcycle and admiring the hot wiring this man was doing, because he took a couple of our Christmas wire extension cords, cut them, and had wired them to the battery from our gate to try to jump the motorcycle. And of course, he didn't realize both of them were dead, so he had no idea. So after that, I think about it. He ran out of the backyard. We got some cows in the backyard. Roscoe P. Coltrane. He is my farm's, hopefully down the road, very important calf. And I want to go check on Roscoe. So I run in the backyard, get the flashlight out, gate's closed. Check on Roscoe. Roscoe's still in the backyard. He was a calf that was born, and his mother wasn't taking care of him, so we wanted to keep him close to the house to watch him in his early months. And he was still in the backyard at the time, grazing, eating, growing up into hopefully a strong cow one day. And as we were checking the backyard and checking on Roscoe, and again, I'll give credit where credit's due, my father is flashing a light on what seems to be a bucket. And I go over there with him because the bucket just doesn't look right even where I'm from. And we have a lot of white buckets on the property for watering, for carrying stuff, for everything. It's a farmer's universal tool, a bucket. And so we go and we're flashing our lights on this bucket. And I'm flashing it, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. Something's not feeling fishy. I have super bad eyes, by the way, if you can't tell from the story. And Dad flashes the light a bit upward, and you can see this man has a tattoo right around the collarbone area, I think. Well, at that moment, me and Dad, because we both saw it around the same time, though our holsters, we had our guns in our holsters, but we were carrying them. We both threw our holsters on the ground and locked on them. And, asked him to get up, put his hands up. And luckily, because we had no idea at the time that he had stolen 2 pistols from the house. Luckily, he dropped his bag full of our crap, mind you. And, he rose his hands up. Hey, man, I don't want no trouble. I'll leave. And, we were trying to hold him for the police. I called the police again about 15 minutes from the original phone call. I live in the county, and there was something that the deputy sheriffs were having to deal with on the other side of the county, and I live in a pretty big county. So it was going to take them a minute to get to my house, and I was trying to tell them hey, step it into gear. We got the escaped convict in our backyard, and he kind of backs away and just kind of runs into the forest. We were told many things. We were told we could shoot him by the police. Me and my dad kind of both agreed that we weren't going to fire unless we felt physical danger towards ourselves. And I mean, a guy not wearing a shirt, baggy pants that kept falling, and no shoes, and obviously he's an escaped convict. He doesn't look the best. Doing this, raising his hands up, just wasn't a threat. We were trying to hold him to the best of our ability for the police. I stayed on the phone with the police. They told me just to sit tight. They'll try to get there as quickly as possible. And he just kept slowly backing up to our woods. And he got in the woods and he kind of just took off. So we went back, found our holsters, put them on our belt, and kind of kept our guns out for a minute. Because, again, you don't know if he's going to come back out. And, again, that's not the moment that scared me. The moment that got me earlier. During that moment, I'd luckily gotten some training from a former Marine on handling high stressful situations and defending yourself with your Second Amendment rights. So that moment, I was pretty cool as a cucumber. My hands weren't shaking. I had clear sight on them. I knew exactly what I was doing. I had a light on them at all times. I was ready to do what I was ready to do what I had to defend myself. And luckily that night it didn't entail shooting anybody. Very blessed for that. So he runs away. The police come. We holster our guns, obviously. And we talk to them for a bit. They start searching for him. We replace the locks at the house. And kind of by 3 or 4 a.m. we hadn't heard anything. We didn't really sleep. The police came back to the house at 6 a.m. Hey, we got him. When the sun came up, we were able to finally spot him. Need you to come by the police station an hour or two and make your statement. Did that. And we came back and kind of crashed for a bit before we had to get up and do a bit more work. And again, that cut into my recording time because I was going to do it that morning. So obviously I was just too tired to deal with it and such. But two cool things. We figured out he picked our house because of the fact he used to live there. So he was familiar with the woods and he knew how he could escape in the woods. And he got pretty far away. Again, he had made it to one of our far off neighbors' houses and tried to steal her car. And they just caught him under the car, I think. I honestly don't know that part of the story very well. But here's the funny thing we realized the next day is as we're going through some of our crap, this man not only broke into our house, tried to steal my father's motorcycle, stole guns, clothing, expensive boots, hats, shoes. But he also stole 2 popsicles. And I don't honestly know what my father was more upset about, the popsicles or the cowboy hat. So he had stolen 2 popsicles. And we were reviewing some of the evidence we had seen. So what it looks like is he tried to steal the motorcycle. He got so hot from it being a Mississippi summer. Mississippi summers are brutal. This man, has been on the run, hasn't had any water. He's probably dying. So, he broke into our house and, stole some stuff. But he also, after he got done stealing, got into our freezer and grabbed 2 popsicles. He ate half of one, put it on the floor, and then went and sat on my dead gum couch and turned the fan on to cool off. And he ate half of a popsicle. And what we think happened is that's when I pulled up. I showed up in progress because, again, the back door is open. He obviously left in a hurry. And the blinds where the couch is shows where I park my truck. So he must have flipped them things open and saw that I was home. And like an idiot, I stay in my truck a lot of nights and just listen to music for a minute, answer some emails, some texts, because my phone blows up all day. It's kind of hard to keep up with it all. So I'm doing that in the truck while jamming out to music. And jamming out loud enough where this man probably could have walked out the front door and I was that oblivious. Heck, he could have gotten on the motorcycle and I don't know if I would have heard it. And that's how loud my music was. Not making that mistake again. And and he put the last popsicle on one of my dad's gifts he got from coaching basketball, which also pissed off my poor father. And I tried my best to clean it off, but yeah, he let this popsicle melt on it. And that's when he ran out the door, grabbed the bag. He also put all our stuff in a cooler to steal, which I don't know if it was his brightest idea. Yeah, it had some handles, but it was a heavy little thing. And yeah, he busted out the back door, and that's when the dogs probably started barking again with my music and my bad hearing. I probably didn't hear it. But that is the story of how I, the conservative colonel, was robbed. It was just one of those episodes where I just was like, you know what? Let's have some fun. I'm a big joking guy. I like to have I can joke about most any serious thing. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. I try to make a joke out of everything to help deal with it and help everybody deal with it, because bad things happen, but God gave us the ability to laugh and smile about stuff, so you might as well use it. So yeah, a crappy thing happened. Nothing got hurt. Nobody got hurt. None of our stuff was severely broken or stolen. We never could get some stuff back. So everything kind of worked out for the best. The only thing bad that happened, I guess, is the destruction of my dad's cowboy hat, which still, I think, pisses him off to this day. But, it is what it is. All is good. We're all safe. I'm going to ask now, before y'all leave, to make sure to tune in to the Conservative Colonel podcast. We will finally getting back to our regularly scheduled programming, trying to get everything situated. You can support us at conservativecolonel.com, and you can support us when we have a new episode every Thursday on Spreaker, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music and Audible, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and Good Pods. And on Tuesdays, we release the video format of the show on Rumble and YouTube. Thank you guys all. If you could, leave a 5-star review for my robber. Make sure you carry your pistols. Enjoy your Second Amendment rights. I am now concealed carrying most of the time anyway, or carrying normally. Luckily, Mississippi is a good Second Amendment state. Found out some stuff we're not so good at today, thanks to the Agriculture Commissioner, Andy Gibson. We'll talk about that a little bit next week. But thank you guys for watching or for listening. Share it out, I guess. I don't know if I want to put out the fact that I was robbed. Joy to the world. All right. Well, thank you all for, again, supporting the show and doing so good. Again, go back and watch that 25th episode. Go watch that one with Graves, and go watch the future one with Graves. God bless America, and God bless Mississippi.